Hey friend, happy Pesach. This evening we actually start getting ready for the Feast of Pentecost. In Leviticus chapter 23, verses 15 and 16, the Bible says, "And you shall count for yourselves from the day after the Sabbath, from the day that you brought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Sabbaths shall be completed. Count 50 days to the day after the 7th Sabbath, and then you shall offer a new grain offering to the Lord." And so we count 50 days from Pesach to Shavuot, from Passover to Pentecost. That word Pentecost means 50 days. Today we Jews, we call this Shavuot. Shavuot means weeks, as in like 7 days. Leviticus says to count off 7 Sabbaths, which is like counting off 7 weeks. And Leviticus says to count to the day after the 7th Sabbath, so that would be like counting off 50 days. So the church calls it Pentecost, because the word Pentecost means 50 days. But the word Pentecost is also found in the Jewish Talmud. It's found in the first century Jewish writer Josephus. It's found in Philo, who's Jewish. And of course, the New Testament was written by Jews. And the Jews who wrote the New Testament called it Pentecost. So Pentecost really is a good name. There are different opinions as to when we should start the counting. What is the first day of the counting? Well, frankly, it's complicated. But most of Judaism starts the 50 days this evening at sunset. The vast majority of Jews see it as starting on the 16th day of the month of Nisan, which starts tonight at sunset. The Karaite Jews are a small sect of Judaism. They used to be much larger. They start counting on Sunday, like the church, but most Jews start this evening. Now, what are we counting? Well, it's called the Omer, counting the Omer. And in case you're wondering, the word Omer means a sheaf, as in a sheaf of barley. So these 50 days are seen as a time of preparation for something that is going to happen at Mount Sinai, and when the 10 Commandments are given at Mount Sinai. Now, of course, in Jeremiah 31, the Bible says the day would come when God would write his laws on men's hearts, and that's what happens in Acts chapter 2 in the New Testament. And so Passover remembers the death of the firstborn, and that would have been last night. And Jewish teaching is that today is the day that Israel's immediately pushed out of Egypt. So the journey from Pesach to Shavuot, from Passover to Pentecost, that journey started this morning. And we're supposed to start the count on the day after the Sabbath. And so Judaism says, well, the day after we leave, this is a Sabbath day, the first day we leave Egypt. We're out of that bondage. And so the day after that's the day after, that's tomorrow. But tomorrow in Judaism starts this evening at sunset. And so in mystical Judaism, in Kabbalah, each of these 7 weeks of counting the Omer is associated with one of the 7 attributes of God. The first week of counting the Omer is concerned with the word chesed, the word for love. So as we get started here this evening, we have begun the feast of unleavened bread. Leaven is the symbol of sin. Leaven causes bread to be puffed up. We can get puffed up with pride. And so in Judaism, we dedicate this first week to love, that is, let's get rid of the leaven. We also think about our family in this first week of counting the Omer. So let me ask, do we have any leaven in our lives that keeps us from loving people, but especially our family? And if so, let's get that leaven out. Now here's how we count the Omer. In Hebrew, we would say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al seferat ha'omer. In English, blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who has sanctified us with his commandments and commanded us to count the Omer. And after that blessing, we then would say the account for the appropriate day. Today is the first day of the counting the Omer, so we would say Hayom Echad LaOmer, or today is the first day of the Omer. Well, my friend, it's been a joy to be with you, and God bless you. Shalom.